Forget everything you think you know about gender. When you look at me, what do you see? A man, a gay man, maybe a man in drag. You'd be wrong. When I came out as transgender, I knew I wasn't a woman, but I also didn't identify as a man. I'm something else. The word genderqueer seemed to fit pretty well. But let's back up a second. Let's talk about what is gender. Gender expression, how you appear, your characteristics, the jobs you take. These aren't gender, right? Pink, blue, CEOs. At every point in history, they've varied. Men have actually had long hair, adorned themselves with jewels and makeup. Johnny Depp. And that picture up there is actually a young, aged FDR in 1886, wearing dresses and heels. Yeah. So it varies over culture and decade. It's not just for men or for women. And it's important to understand that it's also not biology, right? We think that there are just two sexes, but in fact, there's a huge variety of biological sex. In fact, 1 in 150 people are born intersex. That means that people have varying chromosomes, like XXY. They might have changes in hormone levels. They might have different internal reproductive organs, like one testy and one ovary. Or they might have ambiguous genitals. With this many people who are intersex, it's clear that biology just isn't too clear shapes and sizes. Okay, so if it's not gender expression and it's not biology, what is it? If you lose a testicle to cancer, are you no longer a man? If you have a hysterectomy, are you no longer a woman? What we realize is that gender is actually an internal sense of ourselves that we try so hard to map onto the language and the categories that we've created. Some people just don't fit in the box. Trans people don't. Some people are assigned at birth, male or female, based on whether or not there's a little dangly bit on the ultrasound. And they're wrong. Now, plenty of trans people actually do identify in one of the two boxes, either men or women. They just transition from one to the other. But not everybody fits into this binary. It doesn't tell the whole story. So we started talking about new models of gender, like the spectrum, with men at one end, women at the other, and androgynous people in the middle. However, not all gender non-conforming people actually fit on the line or identify as in between. So I like a different model. I like to think about gender as stars, and everybody is a star in the universe, clustered into galaxies. Imagine that one cluster of stars represents women. And some of these women are tomboys, others like wearing lipstick. Some of these women were assigned female at birth, and others not, and maybe have transitioned. But all of them use the word woman as their identity, even if their definitions vary. Imagine that another galaxy are men. And some of these guys, like football, and some of them watch romantic comedies. Some of these men are transgender. Other of them are cisgender. They all identify as men, even if their gender expression varies. And then there are bigender people, people whose gender maybe changes from man to woman at different times, or they identify as men and women at the same time. And then there are tons of other clusters. Genderqueer, androgynous, non-binary, trigender, pangender, ag, stud, cyborg, glitterbutch, more than you can think of. In fact, there's more than 800 different genders. And don't forget, there are agender people and genderless folks who have no gender identity at all. Facebook and OkCupid have caught on, and now you can actually change your profile to reflect your gender as anything you want it to be. As for me, I realized when I was putting on makeup in advance of a fundraising event, and my friends and I were joking about how butch we were. I only really wear sparkles, and I realized that that was the day I identify as Glitterbutch. If you want more information, I'm out back.